for toolkit.
In the half day, you're so limited by what you need to get in for all the different outcomes that we have now.
So how about more time in the classroom? Not for all students, just the youngest ones. Good evening. Going to kindergarten, it's a big step for children, and it can be hard on parents, too.
The half day helps families ease into everything, but that could be changing. There's a push to make kindergarten a full day. Barbara Vaughn has the story.
Kindergartners, don't start anything new. It's
Teaching kindergarten has always been rush, rush, rush for Ruth McIver. Until this year, her 29th. Instead of half day, it's all day kindergarten. Time enough to put together a full puzzle.
I cannot believe the changes, the growth, the effects that it has had on all the children.
Most of her students didn't have preschool. Several spoke English as a second language. Others didn't speak it at all. She thinks having the kids all day has helped bridge the diversity and the different levels of learning.
It's given me as a teacher more time to extend on things. Not that you're pushing the curriculum. It's still the same curriculum, but giving them opportunities to do more hands-on.
But is the hands-on time too much time? They're in school from 8 to 2:30. They get naps, but it's still all day.
I would say give it a try and just see how your child does. They do have a rest time, and we have found those that need it fall asleep. Those that don't are ready to get up, and we go on with school, and we don't wake them up.
And what about the parent who wants her child in school just half the day? Wallstad says depending on how legislators mandate the funding, parents would still likely have a choice on half or all day.
Schools would receive funding based on the number of kids who get free and reduced meals. Those schools with the largest numbers would start getting money next year. And by the year 2005, all schools in Minnesota would have funding for all-day kindergarten.
Ruth says the time has come, and now that she's experienced it, she can't imagine turning back.
Knowing what I can do and knowing what the kids can, how they can develop, what they can do, it's going to be hard, I think, to go back to a half day.
All-day kindergarten is a one-year pilot program at Oak Grove Elementary School, and Ruth is concerned it won't be back again next year. So where does the bill stand in the legislature? The Budget Committee still has to decide its priority, how much money to spend on it, where the money would come from. And the full House has to consider the issue. So it's still very early on. Live in the newsroom, I'm Barbara Vaughn.
So what do you think about this all-day kindergarten idea? We want you to give us a call on the 9 line. The number is 612-946-1234, and the press 1 have to get used to using the area code. And here are some of your comments.
I think it's wonderful that they have all-day kindergarten. It's the one thing that'll help the parents who work all day, and it also helps the kids. When I was young and grew up in the South, we had all-day kindergarten. Now moved up north, it's always been half-day. I'm just happy to hear that someone is looking at all-day kindergarten for kids.
Thanks for calling. Right now, it's time for Sam's weather at 10:03. Sam.
Looks like another messy morning mix for the Twin City metro area as another storm system approaches from the west. Some developing freezing rain, sleet, and snow tomorrow morning that will continue into midday, then change over to snow during the afternoon. Could accumulate a dusting up to an inch. Temperatures still above normal, topping out in the low to mid-30s for daytime highs. Then things dry out temporarily as we head into Thursday, but then another chance of some messy weather on Friday, but I'll tell you all about that coming up after 10:15.
Okay, Sam, we'll see you then. Renewing your license tabs may soon be cheaper and easier. Easier because you won't have to wait in line or go out of your way to get an annual emissions test. A House panel today voted to eliminate those tests, saying they've outlasted their usefulness. The program began in 1991 after the Twin Cities violated federal air quality standards for carbon monoxide. Since 1995, the tests have only been required for cars older than 5 years. The legislature is also considering a handful of bills to cut license tab fees. Governor Jesse Ventura made the fees an issue during the campaign, but don't get too hopeful just yet. If tab dollars are reduced, there will be a big hole in the transportation budget, meaning not enough cash for snowplows or potholes.
St. Paul police are investigating the murder of a teenager. It happened just after 6 tonight at Concordia and Milton. That's near Interstate 94. In the past hour, police have identified the victim as 18-year-old Marcus Williams. He was shot in the back. Now, police found drugs and drug paraphernalia at the scene. Cops are questioning a witness, but so far, no arrests. In Minneapolis, police are looking for suspects after a man was shot and killed in the middle of the street in broad daylight. More than one person left the scene around 9:30 this morning in North Minneapolis. The victim was in his mid-20s. Still no word on a motive. It's the 4th murder in Minneapolis so far this year.
Police are banking on a piece of videotape to help them catch a robber they say has no fear. He was caught on camera holding up a Country Inn hotel. Police think the same guy may be linked to 15 robberies, half of them at hotels around the Twin Cities. The robber hasn't shown a gun, and so far, no one's been hurt. If you recognize the man, you're asked to call police.
Passengers hoping to get a refund from Northwest Airlines for alleged ticket gouging will get another shot. A federal appeals court has revived their price-fixing lawsuit against Northwest. It had been thrown out by a lower court. Now, Northwest plans to appeal.
Treasure hunters believe they're closing in on the Winter Carnival medallion. Some headed to Conway Park after the latest clue. The crooner and the comic with the same name. That might mean Conway Twitty and Tim Conway. The baseball diamond is hot because of another clue. Bring the treasure home. There are only 2 more clues left. $10,000 waits for the finder with a St. Paul Winter Carnival button.
That is key. You need to have that button to get the $10,000.
Before you get the medallion.
That's true. You can't run out and buy it.
Sounds like they're closing in on it, though.
I'd love to see all those people out there searching. That's great. Oh.
Well, when we come back, a football legend is in the fight of his life.
But first, the news menu.
Minnesota 9 News. More local news every night.
How about that? Are you ready? Got him. Whoa.
It's the most riveting, star-studded display of sports entertainment. It's jam-packed with non-stop, in-your-face action. It's the most unpredictable hour on television. It's an all-new WCW Worldwide.
Saturday at 11 on UPN 9.
Want a good reason to buy a neon? Here's one. Snow. Lots of it. For months and months. But with front-wheel drive and 132 standard horses, neon can handle that. Want a good reason to buy a neon right now? Here's one. Cash. Lots of it. As in a $1,500 cash allowance on neon. See your Dodge dealer soon, because the snow will be around for quite a while. But this great deal won't.
Give your room style with House of Farrah Moldings from Menards. Do it yourself and save. There's no miters to cut. Finish this doorway in pine for just $19.99. Oak for only $23.99. Armstrong Ceilings give any room a new look. 2x2-foot stipple tiles, dead and sound, and are fire resistant. Get enough tile and white grid for a 12x12 room for just $99.84. Plus, save 10% on everything, even sale prices when you use your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
I feel I've been lost. You were my true north.
You wish it was addressed to Dear Teresa.
Any girl would want to be loved like that.
I think we should trace these letters.
You got him, Teresa. Now go knock on his door.
You want to step aboard?
From the best-selling romantic novel,
Choose between yesterday and tomorrow.
Kevin Costner, Robin Wright Penn, and Paul Newman. Message in a Bottle, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, February 12th.
You know, I think he was the best of all time. He's #1 on the all-time NFL rushing list.
Now he's made the liver transplant donor list. Without a transplant, doctors give Walter Payton 2 years to live. Now, Payton has a rare liver disease. In short, it's called PFC. Symptoms include fatigue, jaundice, and eye discoloration. Today, a tearful Payton broke down.
To the people that really care about me, just continue to pray. And for those who are going to say what they want to say, may God be with you also.
Payton's disease is not a result of alcohol ingestion, hepatitis, immune deficiency, or steroid use. Andy Skugman will have more from Payton and his doctors coming up in sports.
The news is encouraging tonight for Jordan's King Hussein. He underwent a bone marrow transplant today at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. he's already been up and around, plus he watched some TV. Hopefully he was watching the number 9. The king, who's 63 years old, is being treated for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The marrow was donated by his brother and sister.
When President Clinton was elected, being an FOB, friend of Bill, was hip. But now, during the impeachment trial, it's taboo. The president's friend, Vernon Jordan, spent the day being questioned by House managers. Jordan, a powerful Washington attorney, defended himself for 3 hours. Considering secrecy is key, the questioning by manager Asa Hutchinson was held in a room normally used for intelligence meetings. Many people involved in the trial are already saying nothing new was learned from the session with Jordan or yesterday's talks with Monica Lewinsky.
It would have helped if there was new information, but confirming the accuracy and the reaffirmation of her previous statements under oath is something worthwhile.
Tomorrow is White House aide Sidney Blumenthal's turn to face the House managers. He is the trial's third and final witness. Well, you can cross Dick Gephardt off the list of presidential hopefuls. The leading Democrats apparently decided to skip the 2000 presidential campaign. A formal announcement is expected tomorrow. Gephardt will instead help his party regain control of the House, and if that happens, he'd be a shoo-in for the job of Speaker.
Ford Motor Company is scrambling to get its Dearborn, Michigan plant back in operation. An explosion shut the place down yesterday. Ford workers make automobile parts for other factories at River Rouge. If production doesn't resume soon, work will be slowed at 16 North American assembly plants. One worker was killed and more than 20 others hurt after a power station blew up. A federal jury ordered some abortion opponents to pay up big time. Authors of an anti-abortion website owe more than $100 million in damages. The Nuremberg Files website lists the names and addresses of doctors who perform abortions. An Oregon jury ruled that the site constitutes a threat. The website offered $5,000 rewards for information on doctors. 3 doctors on the list were killed. Their names were later crossed off.
An apology from the Reverend Jerry Falwell at a Nashville prayer breakfast. Just last month, Falwell predicted the second coming of Christ within 10 years. And he said, according to the Bible, the Antichrist has to be a Jewish male. Now, he apologized to the group for his, quote, lack of tact and judgment that served no purpose, but Falwell did not apologize for his beliefs. Folks at Mount Rushmore don't mince words.
When asked about a plan to add Ronald Reagan to the monument, their answer was simple. Go find another mountain. One of the original sculptors said years ago, there's no carvable granite left on Mount Rushmore. And even if there was...
Well, we kind of think it's a ridiculous idea. And it would be very difficult, I think, for another sculptor to come in and actually try to match what's up there.
An Arizona congressman pitched the idea. It looks like he'll have to think of another way to honor the former president. Maybe make a big statue of him in jelly beans, since he loved jelly beans so much.
That's right, he loved jelly beans. They're very matter-of-fact out there. We just think it's ridiculous.
No mincing words. A little shadow dancing plus Sam's 7-day forecast when we return.
Wednesday on an all-new Voyager.
Paris to Voyager. Respond.
Shuttles don't just vanish into thin air.
There's no way to rescue them.
We can't abandon our crew.
Marooned for eternity on a desolate planet.
This is home now.
The crew meets a mysterious woman.
She likes you.
Who holds the key to their survival.
Prepare for the attack.
Voyager.
Wednesday at 8 on UPN 9.
$20,000 for a new car? Ouch. Hey, if your car runs good, looks bad, paint it. That's right, paint it and save at Maaco. Why? The Maaco Supreme Plus sale is on. Supreme Plus at half price. Now only $225. Get our prep package with a full coat of primer sealer, our famous Supreme paint service. Come on in now and get our integrated UV sunscreen for extra protection. All half price. For a limited time only, $225. Painting your car with Maaco Supreme Plus at half price? That's America's smart choice.
Looking for a more creative way to serve chicken? Try Golden Plump Marinades. Fresh chicken breasts in 7 original and very expressive flavors like raspberry lime and roasted garlic herb, each ready to eat in 15 minutes. Fresh ideas in chicken from Golden Plump.
Just bought an Escort? Ouch. You could have gotten a Cavalier with more power, more room, standard anti-lock brakes, and 2.9 financing. Check out Cavalier at your Chevrolet dealer.
I think it's a good idea for them to make it full-time. They give parents time to work full-time instead of part-time, especially for the single parents. Thank you.
Yes, I really think the kids should go to school, kindergarten all day. That helps the parents that's working to get off AFDC. Thanks. Bye.
And thank you for calling the 9 Line. It all comes down to what you believe, science or a fuzzy rodent.
We're talking about the annual groundhog tradition, of course. Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow today, meaning an early spring. Now, many consider Phil to be the Cadillac of all groundhogs, but he's not the only forecasting rodent. There are a total of 6 around the U.S., and only one of them saw their shadow today. Apparently, Wisconsin's groundhog Jimmy did not see his shadow today. So
there were some clouds off to the east, but our own Minnesota 9 News groundhog, Stephen, we showed you him last night. He saw his shadow this morning. In fact, it was a gorgeous sunrise. Just beautiful.
It was.
Yeah.
Beautiful this morning. And nice thing about the sunshine all day today is as you were driving around, it was very nice. It was great to drive on dry pavement.
Yes.
Not wet, not icy, not snowy, but dry pavement. But unfortunately, that will be coming to an end as we have another system working our way from the west. So that means some snow developing, possibly mixing with some of that freezing rain and sleet stuff again. Doesn't look like a major system, but it could be a nuisance. Not quite tomorrow morning for the commute, but maybe on the way home. Could be a bit messy. Right now, we do have cloudy skies. Temperatures 31 degrees, continues to drop. Dew point 26, 82% humidity, southwesterly winds 7 miles an hour. Ahead of this next system, working our way. And barometric pressure low, 29.5 inches of mercury, and it continues to fall ahead of this Pacific system. Here's how things look on the satellite loop. Again, we do have some holes in the clouds right now, but the clouds will continue to thicken up back to the west. And here's the precipitation, which is working eastward, and more snow and mix will continue to fill in through the Dakotas overnight and then work into the metro tomorrow morning right around the time daybreak begins and the commute begins. Currently, we're in the low to mid 30s across the metro. Very, very nice for this time of the night and this time of the year. And here's how this system looks as it does move through the upper Midwest tomorrow. Snow, maybe up to 3 inches of accumulations up to the north, around an inch in through the metro once the changeover does take place in the afternoon. Then things dry out for us on Thursday, and then another system works our way for Friday with another chance of snow, freezing rain, and or sleet. How about that? Well, here's how things look as you head off to work. A developing icy mix around 7 or so. Temperatures climbing back up to around 30 degrees after lows tonight in the mid to upper 20s. And then look for afternoon highs only in the low to mid 30s, falling late. Dry on Thursday, colder, 25 for the high. 35 for the high on Friday with, again, more of an icy mix. Then things drying out for the weekend, looking pretty nice at this point. Maybe a sprinkle or flurry on Monday.
Burr at the 20s.
Yeah, I know.
We're spoiled,
we were in the 30s for like 5 days in a row now. It's just amazing.
Hey, we could be in Wisconsin. The creative consultants, they're coming up with Jimmy the Groundhog. I mean, come on.
Jimmy,
How long did they take to name that? Okay, thanks. Checking Wired, the king of the hill when it comes to children's websites. The Kids Guide will give you dozens of links to family sites. Go to Leonardo da Vinci's and find out why the Mona Lisa smiles. Surf up game pages, recreational and educational, magazines, travel, you name it, the directory's got it. The creators of the webpage didn't forget about Mom and Dad. There are plenty of user-friendly sites for them, too. And remember, you can link to all the sites we feature on Wired from our homepage. Just dial up KMSP.com, click on News, and then click on Wired.
Up next in the Family Survival Kit, a new type of anorexia that's not always related to eating.
Tonight's Family Survival Kit is brought to you by KMSP.com, your homepage for free email.
In the Family Survival Kit, over-exercising, living together, plus loans for fixer-uppers. Do you know someone who's a little too faithful about their workout? They never miss a chance to exercise. Well, if you think they're overdoing it, you may be right. Health experts are seeing more and more cases of what's called activity anorexia, or anorexia athletica. There hasn't been much research on it, but like anorexia nervosa and bulimia, it affects mostly women ages 15 to 30. Now, Jennifer is getting over it. She says she was literally addicted to exercise.
I dream about exercise and eating all the time. And the more I would do it, the better I would feel. And it would be the point where an hour on the treadmill didn't feel like I did anything at all, that I needed to do more than that. And it started to become frustrating.
And it can be very dangerous to your health. So for more information or help, call the Eating Disorder Clinic at the University of Minnesota or call Lifetime Fitness. They're starting a support group for people who think they have activity anorexia. We checked with Northwest and Flagship, some other clubs. They have personal trainers and doctors on staff who are knowledgeable about this as well. Here's the latest study on heart attacks. Two common antibiotics may cut your chances of having one: tetracycline and quinolones. People who took them reduced their risk of heart attack by 30 to 55%. Now, the drugs fight lung bacteria, which makes doctors think bacteria may be one of the causes of heart attack. The study's in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Okay, time for tonight's Kid Stuff. Yogurt lovers, save a lid and you might help save a life. This month, Yoplait is donating 50 cents for every lid redeemed to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Look for the special pink lids. Looking for a home? If you have some skill and lots of patience, consider a fixer-upper. Bankers and finance companies are offering a variety of home improvement loans for so-called handyman specials. 203K mortgages let buyers put as little as 3% down and finance up to 110% of a home's post-renovation value. And forget what you've heard. People who live together before marriage are more likely than other couples to divorce. Speculation is people who live together are less committed to the institution of marriage and more open to the possibility of divorce. Okay, now that is based on several studies that have been done over the last 10 years. And we should point out, though, that the whole overall study was compiled mainly by conservative traditional family foundations. So you can kind of read into it either way. But a lot of people argue on the other side that if you live together, maybe you prevent divorce in the long run because you get to know each other. And
get the chance to figure out each other's faults.
I don't know. Interesting study, though, nonetheless.
Yeah, worth a lot of talk. Coming up next, more on Walter Payton. Plus, it's state tournament time again, so stick around for Andy Skugman at Sports.
A lot of people are just shaking their heads tonight about Walter Payton.
Yeah, a lot of rumors going around the last few weeks because he was at the Mayo Clinic, and now we know. But
he's lost so much weight.
Yeah, he does not look good, no question about that. Walter Payton tops the NFL's all-time rushing list, but the only list he cares about right now is the donor waiting list. The former Chicago Bear running back needs a liver transplant as soon as possible. Payton made his medical predicament public at a press conference in Chicago. The Hall of Fame running back is suffering from a rare liver disease. Without a transplant, he has only 2 years to live.
Am I scared? Hell yeah, I'm scared. Would you be scared? But what can you do? You know, like I said, it's not in my hands anymore. It's in God's hands, and it's in the doctor's hands. And whatever they say that it's fit for me, that will happen. If it's meant for me to go on and to be around, I'll be around. If it's not meant for me, it won't be meant for me.
This disease is not related to alcohol ingestion, has nothing to do with viral hepatitis, such as hepatitis A, B, or C, has nothing to do with immune deficiency disease, has nothing to do with anabolic steroid use.
Well, the Hall of Fame halfback played 13 seasons for Chicago. Viking fans may remember November 20th, 1977. That's when Payton set the NFL single-game rushing record. He ran for 275 yards against the Purple. Augsburg receiver Scott Vistendahl receives the nation's top honor in Division III football tonight. Vistendahl given the Gallardi Trophy. This season, the senior set a new NCAA record for career receiving yards, surpassing San Francisco's Jerry Rice. The last place the 13-5 basketball Gophers want to be is absent from the NCAA tournament. First, though, they'll probably have to win all 3 of their remaining home games starting tomorrow with last place Illinois. Second, they must find a way to win at least a couple of their 5 remaining on the road. Clem's club winless in the conference away from Williams Arena, but it's not because of Quincy Lewis. The senior leads the conference in scoring and is a top candidate for Big Ten Player of the Year. Sounds like Quincy's coach is lobbying for a 5th year of eligibility.
If Quincy had one more year, he'd be even better. He just now begins to scratch the surface of a player. He's not even close to developing yet as a player. He's getting good, but man, you watch him 2 years from now, he's going to be some kind of player.
The Nittany Lions of Penn State nearly pull off the upset of Michigan State, tied at 65 with just over 2 minutes left. Titus Ivory will hit the three, 68-65 Penn State. But Mateen Cleaves and the Spartans will answer. Cleaves will can a three of his own, tied at 68 with under a minute to go. It would stay that way till the final seconds when Cleaves will come through again. He hits the pull-up leaner for the victory. 8th-ranked Michigan State squeaks out a road win 70-68. The Twins aren't the only major league team cutting costs. The National League pennant-winning Padres continue to slash their payroll. They deal Greg Vaughn and his $6 million contract to Cincinnati. In return, the Reds send Reggie Sanders and a couple of minor leaguers to San Diego. Vaughn's just the latest to leave the Pods this offseason. Also gone, Kevin Brown, Kevin Caminiti, Steve Finley, and Joey Hamilton. And finally, if you have an appetite for the state tournaments, you're in luck. Round 1 of the girls hockey tournament, Prior Lake and Hopkins tied at 4 in overtime, but Prior Lake's Jessica Bowles breaks free and will break the tie with a pretty move. Prior Lake advancing to round 2, 5-4 overtime winners tonight. February 20th is the championship game for the girls.
So the girls tournament just around the corner already.
It's tournament time. It was just
That's
like yesterday.
Wasn't that prep pool? Yeah, just a couple weeks ago.
Here it goes. All right, stay with us. A little bit of buzz isn't up next.
Yes, I'm a teacher in Minneapolis, and I also have young children, and I believe that all-day kindergarten is too much for a 5-year-old. I think that we're just making that an option for parents to have the kids in school longer instead of in daycare. So, no, I do not believe in all-day kindergarten.
I thought you were starting to go.
A groundhog in Canada has made his last prediction.
Robin's got a little bit of buzz on a hog named Wyerton Willie.
The most famous groundhog in Canada saw a shadow today, the shadow of death. Wyerton Willie died on Sunday. Some 200 people in Wyerton, Ontario, found out about it when they showed up for a Groundhog Day ceremony. His handlers say Willie's spirit predicts an early spring. One of Verdi's grandest operas opens the season for the Minnesota Opera. The last 2 seasons were
I have one of those stories, but this one goes beyond one family or two.